Diddy Combs' kids are speaking out for the first time since the music mogul was taken into custody. 4 of his 7 children released a statement on Instagram saying they want to clear up false rumors about their mother.
When I first saw the headline, I had to do a double take. I couldn't believe what I was reading. Reports are now saying that Christian Combs, yes, Diddy's own son, might be working with federal investigators. The whispers are getting louder, and the story is turning into something no one expected. Let's start with what we know so far. Christian Combs has already been named in at least one of the civil lawsuits filed in connection to the major investigation involving his father, Sean Diddy Combs. That fact alone raised eyebrows across the entertainment world. But there's more to the story, and it's getting even more complicated. Rumors began to spread that Christian has been secretly cooperating with investigators behind the scenes. One particular lawsuit even claims he was present when some of the alleged incidents took place. He wasn't just a distant family member watching from the outside, he was there, inside the homes, attending the events, and part of the same exclusive circles. That puts him in a position where he might know a lot more than anyone originally thought. Now, prosecutors are digging into every corner of this situation. They want to know who saw what, who knew what was going on, and who can confirm the details. Christian might be able to answer more questions than people realized. Legal experts are even saying that he may have already shared valuable information to avoid getting deeper into legal trouble himself. Here's the thing, once your name appears in an official lawsuit, federal investigators can put pressure on you to talk. And when that happens, a lot of people decide to cooperate if it means staying out of prison. But what makes this situation even messier is the fact that it's a son possibly testifying against his father. That's not just courtroom drama that's family.
This audio that CNN has listened to, you can specifically hear the accuser who alleges that she was being forced to take this tequila shot that she believed was laced with drugs. And in the audio, you can hear her asking Christian Combs if she was being drugged, and he answers, "Take the shot."
Diddy has always built his image around loyalty. His brand is based on trust, family, and tight-knit relationships. If that trust is falling apart from within his own family, it's a major problem. It means the strong foundation he's always presented to the public might be cracking in the worst way possible. So what made Christian take that step? Why would he talk to prosecutors behind his father's back? Sources close to the case say Christian's name appears in a sealed court document connected to the federal investigation. That means his involvement isn't just gossip, it's part of the official record. Some reports claim Christian might have been offered some sort of legal deal, possibly immunity. If that's true, it means that in exchange for giving information, he could avoid being charged with any crimes himself. Think about that for a second. The federal government doesn't just offer immunity to anyone. They only do it when they believe the person has something very important to offer, something they can't get anywhere else. And from what insiders are saying, Christian delivered.
We gave y'all some drinks, now it's time to enjoy life. This is a celebration of life. This is the legendary white party. It's the real white party. Make some noise if you've been here before. Okay. And to all the kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable, kids, because after that, y'all gotta go. It's a wrap for y'all, because this thing turns into something that when y'all get older, y'all don't want to come to. Okay? So, let's just start to get our groove on a little bit. In an hour, we put the kids away, it's all good. Hey, DJ.
He reportedly gave information that goes far beyond general statements. We're talking about private jet logs, financial transactions, and lists of people who attended exclusive parties. That kind of information helps connect the dots. It tells investigators who was where, what happened, and when it took place. It helps them build a timeline and understand how everything fits together. According to sources familiar with the case, Christian wasn't just showing up to events. He was involved in the planning. He had access to behind-the-scenes operations. He knew who was flying in on private planes, who was paying for what, and who was organizing the parties. Some reports even claim he gave the green light on certain flights himself, which would mean he was part of the decision-making process. This isn't just a family member answering a few questions. This is someone who was actively involved in the lifestyle and possibly the logistics. And now, prosecutors are using that knowledge to dig even deeper. We've all seen the glamorous photos celebrities partying on yachts, dressed in all white, looking like royalty. But what if those events weren't just innocent parties? Federal investigators are now focusing on a specific set of events hosted by Diddy between 2015 and 2022, especially in high-profile locations like the Hamptons and Miami. On the outside, these parties looked like luxury get-togethers, but investigators believe they may have served a different purpose entirely.
Audio has surfaced as part of a lawsuit that accuses Christian Combs, Sean Diddy Combs' son, of...
According to leaked investigation notes, many of the flights to these events were paid for by shell companies, businesses that exist only on paper and have no real operation. That's a red flag for money laundering. Prosecutors are now trying to trace these companies to figure out where the money came from and how it moved. Some of it was transferred quickly, without clear oversight, and that's suspicious. And guess whose name reportedly appears in connection to some of those flight arrangements? Christian Combs. His name allegedly shows up in email threads, approval forms, and even financial authorizations tied to private travel. No one is saying he personally booked illegal flights, but if his name is attached to the process, and those flights were part of illegal activity, then that connects him to the investigation even further. Prosecutors believe that behind the flashy parties and private jets was a system, one that moved people, money, and resources like pieces on a game board. And Christian's role may have been more involved than anyone realized. His information is reportedly helping officials understand the logistics, the planning, and the flow of money. Now here's where the situation takes a dramatic turn.
Just to put things into perspective, the accuser was a crew member on the yacht. She was a bartender, and she says that shortly after this incident with the shot, she says she was cornered in a room. She says things
Some insiders say that Diddy completely lost it when he found out that his son might testify against him. Sources close to Diddy claim that he even rejected a plea deal that would have limited his prison time to 12 years. He believed he could manage the situation, but once he heard that Christian was possibly talking to the feds, everything changed. Behind closed doors, Diddy's legal team was thrown into chaos. They weren't prepared for this twist. People inside Diddy's camp say he felt totally blindsided. Christian had always been seen as the favored child, the one who would never betray the family. So when the news broke that he might be cooperating, it wasn't just a legal blow. It was a personal one. Some reports say Diddy had a full-on breakdown in jail when he heard about it. It wasn't just about feeling hurt, it was about feeling exposed. The one person he thought would always stay quiet had reportedly decided to talk. And that's a massive shift in the case. Diddy's lawyers are now accusing prosecutors of using Christian as emotional leverage. They claim that bringing Christian into the case is more about psychological tactics than justice. But if Christian voluntarily gave up information, and some sources say he did, then this isn't about manipulation. This is about evidence. Let's be honest, when your own child is working with federal investigators, it shows the entire world that your circle is falling apart. It means the people closest to you are no longer protecting you. Christian Combs isn't just a background figure in this drama. He lived the lifestyle. He went to the parties. He posted the photos. So when the feds started digging into Diddy's activities, Christian was already on their radar. Legal insiders say that Christian has met with federal agents at least twice. That's important. People don't meet with prosecutors multiple times unless they have something useful to share or unless they're trying to protect themselves. So far, Christian hasn't been officially charged with any crimes. Industry insiders believe he's trying to put some legal distance between himself and the investigation before things spiral out of control. When federal agents raided Diddy's homes, they moved fast. They took everything: phones, laptops, files, anything that could be linked to operations behind the scenes. Some of those seized files reportedly included messages and shared documents that mentioned or involved Christian. Even if he wasn't doing anything illegal, his name popping up in those records put him at risk. People close to the case believe that Christian got caught in the middle. He wasn't the target, but he was close enough to the action that he became part of the story. When the government is coming after someone as big as Diddy, they take everything. And anyone connected to that lifestyle, especially someone as involved as Christian, ends up under the microscope. Now, Christian faces a hard choice: stand by his father and risk getting pulled into serious legal trouble, or protect himself by cooperating early. This isn't just about loyalty anymore, it's about survival. Because when federal prosecutors are involved, they don't care about personal bonds. They care about facts, evidence, and results. Whether Christian meant to or not, he was in the middle of something much bigger than he thought. And now, his decisions could change everything, not just for himself, but for his father too. This is no longer a story about parties, fame, or luxury. It's a story about consequences, truth, and the pressure that comes when the walls start to close in. And when your own son might be the one holding the key, the stakes couldn't be higher. And that's where things stand right now, y'all. Christian Combs, Diddy's own son, is no longer just a name in the background. He's right at the center of this growing legal firestorm. Whether he intended to or not, his involvement is changing the game. If he's really cooperating with prosecutors, that could be the crack in the armor that brings everything tumbling down. This isn't just about celebrity parties or flashy lifestyles anymore. This is about accountability, and it's happening inside one of hip-hop's most iconic families. Now, the question everyone's asking is, what happens next? Will more people from Diddy's inner circle start talking? Will Christian make a public statement? Or will Diddy fight back harder than ever to protect his legacy? Whatever happens, we'll be here to break it all down for you fact by fact, moment by moment. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want the real story without the sugarcoating. Hit that bell so you don't miss the next twist in this wild ride. Thanks for watching, and remember, what happens in the dark always finds its way to the light. Stay tuned. This story is far from over,